Hello, I'm Ewan Spence. Welcome to the next set of All About Symbian video diaries. It's August, I'm in Edinburgh, and that can only mean one thing, the Edinburgh Fringe. Hello. You've all been waiting for these, having already looked at the Nokia 5800 as I took it on my travels around America in March, and the Nokia N97, looking at its use in business back in April and May. It's now the turn of Nokia's flagship device, the N97. Forget about the detailed reviews, forget about looking at the exact specifications of the device and the number of pixels picked up in the CMOS sensor. This is a real world test. What is it like when I get rid of all the tech that I'm used to, get rid of the big computers, and look to have the N97 as my main tool around one of the busiest times of year? To give you an idea, the Edinburgh Festival has over 2,000 separate show titles coming up here. There's 18,000 performers. There are 35,000 curtain calls. It takes over a period of 3 weeks. I run a podcast, I do lots of reviews, I do lots of interviews. That sees me out and about for pretty much 18 hours a day for 21 days. Can the N97 cope? What can we learn about the design? Basically, we're going to stress it as far as it can go. Stay with me. We'll look at all the facets of the device. Does it work as media? Does it work as capture? What's it like as a scheduling tool? What's it like for writing and stuff? That is all coming up. But first, as is traditional in the first video of any series of a new device, it is the unboxing. For this, you need a box. It's quite simple. And I've got to say, can I just say, black, very small, good for the environment. Let's do the unboxing. And that's what I think of the unboxing videos. You see, the point is, we're not here to be geeks about the phone. We're not here to go, oh, the CPU's a little bit too slow. Oh, it needs a little bit more memory. What I want to know is, does it work in real life? Can somebody picking it up and just using it, are they going to hit problems? Now, yes, we may go into detail about why they're hitting that problem. The case here is they've hit that problem first of all. Now, I've done these real world tests before at the Fringe as well. You may remember that the E90 was taken on a year or two ago. We weren't doing video then, it was all written up. In previous years before that, we've used the 9500. And I guess those two are the ones that a lot of people are going to be thinking the N97 comes from. Devices like the trusty 9500 with its very basic camera, its keys, twin cursors, screen at the top. You know, when you pick up the N97, there's not a lot of lineage. There's not a lot of similarity, even when you open the device up. You know, it's, you know, this is not a communicator. And I think this is the first thing for me to get over, because I've been a great big fan of the communicators for a very long time. As witnessed by, to find this, the original Nokia communicator. So, you know, there is going to be bias in these videos. There are going to be points where I'm going to go, I remember back in the day. Just get used to that. I mean, if you look at the original communicator, it's got an aerial on it. It had an, you know, to charge it, you had to have a little extra peripheral. Lose that, and your whole phone was destroyed. And, you know, thunk. You know, you can see the lineage to the 9500, but, you know, you'd be pushing it on the N97. But there we go. All right then, yes. Let's have a look at the styling of the device, because when I opened up the box, I've got the white one by the way, I just went, that looks tacky. Now, not because it's been passed around everybody else in the All About Symbian team, and I've deliberately waited until the Fringe to get my hands on it. So this is my first real look at the device. It's just the white plastic on the back, the styling with this colour, it just looks cheap and tacky. Now, okay, arguably the 5800, which I happen to have here as well, is the same. It's plasticky, but it's black and it's got a little bit more street cred. It's slightly smaller, I mean, not by much. I mean, not by much. You know, they're very close to the same size. But side by side, you know, which one of these would you take out on a date, and which one would you hand over to your mate and say, "You're running wingman, enjoy yourself, do your best." The N97 gets the short straw, which is a shame because the hinge, the hinge just reminds me of the old Scion days. Oh, hold on. Money in the pot. It reminds me of the old signage with this lovely movement. There's also, as you can see if you look carefully, that ribbon cable. And from the amount of signs I used to repair in a previous life, ribbon cables scare me. But there was ribbon cables in the 9500, the 93, the E75. Technology's changed and improved, so I'm not too worried about that, but only the sort of base level. Oh, there's a ribbon cable. What is missing? And this is the one that got me straight away, and is that there's no pointer in the device. There's nowhere to hold a stylus. Now, there is one in the box. Let me just dive back down into that mess of stuff, because to be honest, when I opened up the box, I thought this was a USB memory key. It's not. It's your pointer. It's like, oh, we forgot to add one. We'll stick it on a rope to stick on the device so it can hang away and make it look like you're a 12-year-old. I mean, this is not going to work. If this was pink and had puka on it, then it would work. But it. And here's the thing with the N97. It is a dual device. It is touch and it is keyboard controlled. It is a tablet and it has a slide out keyboard as well. It is designed in many respects to be used with a finger, but when you look at something like the size of the scroll bar and the menus, it's designed to be used with a stylus. The whole N97, from first impressions, has this dichotomy of, is it trying to do this or that? And it's trying to do both, which is admirable, but it means it kind of falls in the middle in some situations and just feels a bit rubbish. Now, the point, of course, is not to test this thing indoors at a desk with a camera running. The point is to take it out into the theatres of Edinburgh. The point is to take it out when you're running between venues. You have 5 minutes to get across Edinburgh and you don't know where you're going, and you need to be running and looking at the map to find your directions using the GPS and looking up your notes so you can do an interview as well. That's what this is going to be tested for. We're not going to look at... Okay, there will be issues with the fact that scrolling is kinetic in some applications and uses a scroll bar in the others. We will be thinking about things that some things need one tap and some things need a double tap to activate, because that's real life. That's what changes. The N97, I have to say, and I'm going to use a phrase like that again, picking it up for the first time, that initial impression of tackiness and it does two things. Having used it just for half an hour last night, I actually quite like it. Partly because it's very much an N-series device, and much as I'm carrying the E75, the N95 is still one of my favourite phones. It's not trying to be a powerhouse communicator and do absolutely everything. It's chosen well. It's chosen media. To a certain extent, it's chosen short texting, editing and messages, and viewing information as well. It's a media creation and consumption device. It's not particularly an office-based device. Yes, it can work in that, in the same way that the E75 can work quite nicely as a media device as well. So there's one point where the N97 has decided what it is going to be, and it's going to be a Web 2.0 media phone. And the fact that it's decided that means that there are some things it will do very well. And looking at the camera, the video, and the capture and audio options is what's going to be in the next episode. Now, if you have any questions, anything you want me to try, anything to check out, or advice, do drop me an email. It's ewanspence@gmail.com, or you can leave your comments back at www.allaboutsymbian.com, and we shall take it from there. Until then, if you're up in Edinburgh as well, give me a shout and I'll recommend some shows for you. If you want a recommendation now, the Scottish Falsetto Sock Puppet Theatre would be my call. There we go. That's how much fun I have in August. Hopefully you're going to have some fun with me as well. See you in the next show.